Robin has a bounty of 930 million, just 2 million behind Smoothie, aka Miss Trash. Between heaven and earth, I alone am the useless one, making Robin with the 4th highest bounty of any woman in the entire series as of date. That is insane because the series isn't even close to being over, which means Robin's gonna have well over 1 billion berries by come the end of the series. Now we all know that bounties doesn't always equal strength, but it does represent your danger level, and Robin is easily one of the most dangerous individuals on the planet. In fact, I think she actually deserves a higher bounty, as she's one of the only people on the planet to be able to read the poneglyphs, and she knows of the location of 2 ancient weapons, possibly 3. As their journey continues and the Straw Hats begin to get even more famous as well as closer to the One Piece, the Gorosei as well as Oda seems to finally give Robin the respect she always deserves, and she always should have had a high bounty just off of her knowledge. But that doesn't mean she's weak. In fact, the total opposite. She's very powerful, and what's scary about Robin was her potential, and we saw a glimpse of it in Wano. So the $1 million question I ask is, just how high is Robin's ceiling? Well, let's figure that out, as she might be a lot stronger than you could ever imagine. Now, the problem with Robin is she's always been powerful. It's just that Oda never really gave her the chance to showcase her true strength. She's been an assassin for about 20 plus years, as well as being Crocodile's right hand, and also literally almost defeating Gecko Moria, a warlord of the sea. Had it not been for shenanigans, she probably would have broke his neck. But she was able to recover getting her shadow stolen in just a couple of minutes when it took out Zoro, Sanji, and Luffy for a few hours. So that's very impressive. Now, I think I can speak for a lot of people in saying that we always wanted to see more of Robin fighting, considering she's a very powerful female as well as having a very creative and versatile devil fruit. But that all changed in Wano, where Oda suddenly remembered, oh yeah, Robin's actually pretty nuts. Outside of the monster trio, she easily got the craziest power-ups during that arc. She can now use Fishman Karate. Combining that with her assassination skills and her devil fruit powers, she is quite a dangerous individual. And now that Jinbei's a part of the crew, she can even hone her skills and master it, getting even better. I'm actually kind of scared for how powerful she's gonna be in the future. But not only that, she can make a giant clone version of herself, as well as gaining a devil transformation. It's never explained how she's able to do this, but I don't care, this shit was gas. So she actually has some pretty good stuff going for her. I've even seen people online think she's stronger than Frankie. I wouldn't go that far, but potentially she could. Now, although she is pretty powerful, she does have some major weaknesses. One being, she doesn't have the best durability or endurance, especially because of her devil fruit, where any of her cloned body parts get hurt, so does she. That is a major weakness, but there is a way for her to protect herself and bypass this weakness, and that is to gain haki. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of over the Straw Hats getting haki. I personally, I think they should all have it by now, but I think that ship has sailed, especially with them beating the Toby Roppo without it, which is nuts to me, but it is what it is. Regardless, if any of them were to get it in the future, I think Robin would be the perfect candidate, as she can use armament haki to protect herself and overcome this weakness of hers, as well as further increase her attack power. She does have Fishman Karate now, so that could be used as a substitute to attack devil fruit users. But I think we would all love her to gain some haki, especially because she's not opposed to learning new techniques to get powerful, which Oda does not have to do this, but he did leave the door open for Robin to essentially learn the Dragon Claw technique that Sabo used to break the floor, because he did offer to teach her that. And she didn't necessarily say no, and her fighting style now is all about finding the weak points and crushing it. So that is still on the table for her to use in the future of the series. Observation haki would also be great for Robin, as she would be able to sense her surroundings, but she also could just sprout eyes anywhere, so that could be a substitute instead of learning observation haki, to be honest. Now, beside these things, there are other ways Robin could get more powerful, such as awakening her devil fruit. What exactly would her power look like awakened? Well, we have a couple ideas. For one, instead of just cloning her body parts, it would allow her to clone anything in her environment, such as weapons, buildings, items, etc., as we know that Paramecia awakenings allow the user to not just affect their body, but their surrounding as well. Another option is that she can turn her surroundings into her body parts, such as turning a building into her hand or a tree into her foot, etc. Either one would work and would honestly make her very broken and a very dangerous individual, as quite literally you won't be able to escape her grasp because everywhere around you would be a part of her. So when it comes to the Straw Hat Pirates, these guys are already pretty damn powerful as it is now, and they haven't even reached their full potential. And the fact that Zoro, Sanji, and Jinbei are all commanders now, and they're only gonna get stronger from here on out, becoming one of the strongest characters in the entire series, I think it's safe to say that Robin, who just defeated a Tobiropo one step below a commander, this might ruffle a couple of feathers, maybe. I think she might reach commander level by the end of the series, like around like 3rd or like maybe even 2nd, like a Smoothie or a Jack. That sounds kind of crazy, but her potential is actually very, very high. Maybe I'm overselling her a little bit, but she's my favorite female in the series, so you can suck my ass. The crew are heading to Elbaf, and we do know that they took the books from Ohara and it's there now, so you know that arc is going to be very pivotal and important for Nico Robin as well, especially if Jaguar de Sol is hiding in that place. They can have a nice little reunion. She's going to gain even more knowledge and possibly take some books for herself, and it's going to reveal even more stuff about the ancient kingdom, especially because the giants have lived for so many years and they definitely are connected to sun god Nika as well. And speaking of history and Ohara, Kuzan is now a part of the Blackbeard Pirates, and I cannot wait for these two to reunite because of how much Kuzan has changed in the past 2 years. And I would love to know just how she feels about it and eventually reveal to him that Jaguar de Sol is still alive. Now let's talk about what her final fight could look like. We know that she's gonna eventually fight the Blackbeard Pirates. I've made a whole video discussing who I think she'll be fighting there. I basically said Aval Pizarro, the corrupted king. He can control an island, but her powers, if mastered and possibly awakened, could be a great counter to that ability. Or maybe she fights Vasco Shaw, Katarina Devon. There's a lot of choices, but what about beyond that? Now, I don't think she's gonna be fighting an admiral, but she definitely could be fighting someone in the world government, like one of the Holy Knights, or I think the best final fight for her would be one of the Gorosei, as that would be a full circle moment for Robin, as they're the ones who declared Ohara should get wiped off the face of the map, and they're always talking about kidnapping her and erasing her. So how great would it be that Robin could finally get her revenge and take out the people that have been haunting her all these years. Now, as for Robin's final bounty, when it's all said and done, they would discover the One Piece, the truth of the Void Century, as well as discover all 3 ancient weapons and probably take down the world government, or at least the Gorosei and the Celestial Dragons. Quite literally, Robin would be one of the most dangerous individuals on the planet just off of her knowledge alone, which I think equates to her having a pretty high bounty. She might end up having one of the highest bounties in the entire crew, especially because the Gorosei and the world government are very afraid of what she could potentially do, and so when she actually achieves it, well, you definitely bet this girl's gonna have one of the highest bounties in the entire series. At least I would assume so. Honestly, it could go either way. She can end up having a bounty of 1,666,000,000. This would be a reference to the devil, as she is called the devil child, and 666 is considered Satan's number. It doesn't have to be a billion, it could be 2 billion, it could be 3 billion, either one could work. Another bounty that I found, it's kind of specific, but I swear it makes sense. It could potentially be 2,687,000,000. Why is that so specific? Well, this would actually be a play on both her name and her devil fruits. Nico Robin's name starts with the words ni, which equals 2, and ro, which equals 6 in Japanese, whereas her devil fruit name is called Hana no Mi. Ha means 8, while na means 7. Thus, her final bounty could be 2,687,000,000. A little specific, but you know Oda. And because Oda loves to throw in like little trivia and like inside jokes with bounties, I think this could work. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I could be underestimating Robin even more, because she can have a bounty even higher than that, especially because of all the knowledge that I said she will gain at the end of the series. And honestly, I still might be selling her a bit short, as she could easily gain a bounty well over 3 or 4 billion just off of her knowledge alone. She quite literally would know the location of 3 ancient weapons and could easily destroy the world and make the world government crumble to the ground just off of her knowledge alone. And we all know the world government fear knowledge more than anything. It's why they hide the Void Sentry and deem Robin as their like #1 threat within the Straw Hat crew, or like #2 outside of Luffy. I just really like that everyone is starting to understand just how dangerous Robin is as they get closer and closer to finding the One Piece. When it's all said and done, the government will regret what they did to Ohara, but it's okay because their will and fire lives through her, as she is the light of the revolution, but also will make their dreams come true while being the world government's greatest nightmare.